Or a club legend. Jamie, you've had a couple of days to chew on this. What's your take on it?
I thought it was a disgrace, what he did after the game. Some people have painted it as an emotional outburst. I don't think it was. I think whenever Mo Salah stops in a mix zone, which he's done 4 times in 8 years at Liverpool, it's choreographed with him and his agent to cause maximum damage and strengthen his own position. He did that 12 months ago, and I called him out on this show about it. And he played on the heartstrings of Liverpool supporters. Liverpool were top of the league. He'd scored the winning goal at Southampton. That was the time to come out and put pressure on the Liverpool ownership. So if the rest of the season you have banners in the crowd, give Mo his dough. He's chose this weekend to do this now. And he's waited, I think, for a bad result with Liverpool. You can see the last-minute goal. Liverpool supporters, managers, the manager, everyone involved with the club feels like they're in the gutter at the moment. And he's chose that time to go for the manager and maybe try and get him sacked. That's the way I felt about it. The one line that stands out for me is thrown under the bus. He's tried to throw the club under the bus twice in the last 12 months with the situations that I've just mentioned. Now, going after the owners initially, these are owners who've been paying him hundreds of thousands of pounds for 6 years. He's complained a year ago because they haven't given him a contract at the age of 32. More than entitled to do that. With the manager right now, he should be doing as much as he can to help the club get out the worst run of results they've had since the 1950s, and he hasn't done that. But when I've thought about it over the weekend, and I've put myself in Salah's position, or how I was as a player, I'm not Mo Salah. Mo Salah is a world-renowned player who was famous around the world. And should those players be treated differently? I think they should. I think they should be treated differently. And when you think of the players in that bracket over the last 8 years, I would say Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe. I wouldn't put Salah alongside them, but he's very close for what he's done for Liverpool. So a legendary figure. And all those players, I think, get a privilege. Exactly the same one Mo Salah gets at Liverpool. He doesn't have to defend. He doesn't have to chase back. So that's the privilege he has with Liverpool. But when we're talking about throwing people under the bus, he's threw the Liverpool right back under the bus for 8 years. Can you imagine playing behind him for 8 years? But we accept it because he's a superstar and he scores 250 goals and he's given me, as a Liverpool supporter, some of the greatest nights of my life watching him and what he's done. And that's why we accept it. But also then when you think of the ego of these type of players, Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe, Mo Salah, I think they have a feeling that the success of a football club is down to them. Now, I have no problem with that because I think that drives them on to score more goals and get more success, and it benefits Liverpool. It then becomes a problem when you're in a situation like this. And when Mo Salah's talking about how many goals he's scored, I've got more goals than anyone in the Premier League, what I did last season, he's always speaking about himself. One thing I just want to sort of remind Mo Salah, maybe his agent, is that before he come to Liverpool, Mo Salah was known as the guy who failed at Chelsea. That's just a fact. He'd never won a major trophy before he came to Liverpool. He's also the greatest player his country have ever had in Egypt. Egypt, in the African Cup of Nations, are the most successful nation. He's going there in a couple of weeks. Mo Salah's never won the AFCON. That is not me trying to put Mo Salah down as a player. I've just said he's one of the best players in the world in the last 8 years. Very few better. But what it tells Mo Salah and his agent is, it's not about an individual. You weren't a big star before you come to Liverpool. You haven't really won anything with Egypt anyway. And all that's telling you is, no matter how good a player you are, you need help from your teammates, your manager and fans. And I think that's really important that he remembers that And when he's talking after the game there in the mix-up, all it's about is me, me, me.
You will be aware, Jamie, I'm sure as well, that there will be those listening to you speak passionately there that say that Jamie Carragher was always going to attack Mo Salah or criticise Mo Salah tonight. Mo Salah said it himself, didn't he, after the game? He said, Jamie Carragher will go for me again and again.
Have I ever criticised Mo Salah on the pitch?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, you said his legs had gone.
No, I don't class that as... that's something that happens to every player. That's not a criticism of him as a player. I've never criticised him for not working back. I've never criticised him when he's gone for games without scoring. I've never criticised him when he hasn't passed to someone when he should pass to people at times, because he's an absolute legend of the club, and what you get from him, you have to put up with certain bits. I think some of the criticism this season of Mo Salah has been excessive. I've said that publicly. But I will go after Mo Salah when he tries to throw my club under the bus off the pitch and just think about himself. So I certainly will do that. Now,
what do you think he should have done, Jamie, then?
What he should have done?
In terms of this season, in terms of how it's played out, you know, he's such a proud guy. He's, as you say, he's got this huge ego. He's been left on the bench for 3 games.
OK, let's understand, number one, right, Arne Slot, right? Arne Slot, 3 games before this run of 3 games, has conceded 10 goals in 3 games. One of them against PSV, Salah was embarrassing in terms of challenge he puts in. He then goes to West Ham away. Nuno team, big on set pieces, OK? What do we need to do? We need to keep a clean sheet. That's all he cares about. What's the one thing you're going to do as a manager? You're going to take out the one player in your team who you've allowed not to defend, OK? So that happens. You play Sunderland at home. I would have played him, but it's understandable you keep the same team. OK? What's he do? He brings him on at half-time. You then go to the away game, OK? So West Ham away and Leeds away. Why would you bring him on when you're winning those games? You don't need a goal. You need not to concede. So if you bring Salah on, you're bringing on a guy who can't defend set pieces and who doesn't run back. But the one time I wanted to be really critical and I held back this season about Mo Salah on the pitch, as I said before, I've never been critical of him on the pitch. He is a legend of the club, right? His legacy is there. If he doesn't score another goal or make another assist for this club, I don't care. He's been amazing. Where he really let himself down in my eyes was this season in Frankfurt and another game where there's a guy who signed for Liverpool who needs a goal more than anyone, Florian Wirtz. Instead of just being a great player for the club, be a great ambassador for the club and roll that ball to him for an easy tap-in and go over, give him a hug and a kiss and say, you know what, you're the guy who's going to take this Liverpool team forward. I don't need any more goals. I've seen Barnes at the end. I've seen Ian Rush at the end. I've seen Steven Gerrard at the end. Do you think they were the same players in the pomp? Of course they weren't. Do supporters think any differently of them now? When they see them, they say, no, you are the top 5 or 6 players to ever play for Liverpool. And the same will be said of Salah. So in terms of on the pitch, the one criticism I've got, help the other players, help Florian Wirtz, help Isak. Don't be obsessed with your own numbers. And don't, as I said, what he's done off the pitch, I think the club have made the right decision in terms of him not going abroad now. And whether he will play for Liverpool again, I don't know. I hope he does, because he's one of the greatest players we've ever had. But if you continue like that and statements like that, if he doesn't play, as I said, who cares? Who knows?
Liverpool aren't too far away from the headlines all season at the moment. That was on the pitch when it looked like they got back to winning ways, only to concede that late equaliser. But it was nothing compared to the headlines that were coming off it after that game at Ellen Road, when Mo Salah stopped to speak to journalists in the interview area and delivered many a bombshell in his honest interview. We've picked out, to remind you, in case you haven't seen it, somewhere around the globe this weekend, the main quotes and headlines from it. They included, he said this: the 3rd time on the bench, I think for the first time in career, I'm very, very disappointed. It seems like the club has thrown me under the bus. This is how I'm feeling. I think it's very clear that someone wanted me to get all of the blame. I had a good relationship with the manager, and all of a sudden we don't have any relationship. I don't know why. I will be at Anfield to say goodbye to the fans and go to the Africa Cup of Nations. I don't know what is going to happen when I'm there. Well, Michael, all around the globe, Liverpool fans and indeed Premier League fans are talking about this. The first question I have for you is, what did you make about, forget what he said for a minute, the mere fact that Mo Salah at this stage had done that interview?
Well, my initial reaction when I saw the quotes and when I watched the interview were, totally get you, Mo. Totally get how you feel. Totally get the points that you're making.
Right.
But what are you doing saying that in public? I get it. He's a champion. He wants to break every record. He wants to play every game. He gets in the mood if he doesn't score. He gets in the mood if he doesn't win. He has got the highest of high standards, and he is a champion of a player. And he's carried Liverpool totally, but he's been a huge part in what they've won over the last 7 or 8 years, let's say. But there always is a but. And you simply, in a team game, cannot say some of the quotes that you've just read out. The top one is absolutely fine. Third one in my career. I've been on the bench. I'm disappointed. That's okay in isolation. But then to start accusing people of getting thrown under the bus, almost suggesting as well that he deserves a place in the team after, all the years of service. And of course, nobody will forget what he's done. But this is football. This is top-level football. If you're not performing... Listen, he was given it. He's been poor all season. He was given 3, 4, 5, 6 games of poor performances and still played. But at some point, the manager's got to make a tough decision. Now, he's probably looking round and thinking, Konate's playing rubbish. I've done all these things. Why are they not being dropped?
There's one thing thinking it. Of course. There's quite another thing saying it, isn't there?
Of course. And that is where it's all fallen down for him. And it's fallen down now to such an extent whereby you have to think his days are numbered. You have to think that Liverpool are going to make a stance here for everybody's sake. For Arne Slot's sake, he'll look weak if this is just brushed under the carpet. For the club... there's so many reasons why, unless he comes out with a grovelling apology and gets his head down and once he gets back from the AFCON, then I think his days are numbered.
How would you feel if you were a current Liverpool teammate in that dressing room, going back to training this morning with Mo Salah?
I would sort of get it in many ways, and I'll just give you a quick example.
Get what?
The way he feels...
Yes,
I'd be disappointed.
What about the way he's gone about it?
Yes, I'd be disappointed. I would, we all know. You'd even say to him, "Oh, I know that's how you feel." They've benefited from his attitude. They've benefited.
But if 5, 6 players did this, you'd have no team.
Of course, but this is the point I'm going to make, Steve. So there's certain players in every team that basically don't make up the numbers, but you can get them from anywhere. You can get, lots and lots of players from anywhere. There's certain players that make a massive difference and then turn you into European champions, Premier League champions, and he's one. And you can't be one of those people without feeling the way he does, without having that absolute hunger, that desire, and yeah, if I get dropped, yeah, I'm going to absolutely throw my toys out the pram, because it doesn't happen to me. It shouldn't happen to me. I've won you every trophy in the last few years. So I get how he feels, but we keep going back to it. You can't say it. But I give you an example. Somebody like Andy Robertson. Now, Carragher has come in and taken his place. He must be there thinking, this lad's playing very average, and I should still be playing. I did nothing wrong. But what Andy Robertson's done is got his head down, been an absolute pro, kept his mouth shut, and everybody looks at him and thinks, do you know what? He could now fight his way back into that team. He's playing better than Carragher. And that's exactly what Mo Salah should have done. However, going back to it, they're very different characters. They're very different responsibilities in the team.
They're in the same team, in the same dressing room.
It shouldn't matter, but you can't have one without the other, Steve. You can't have a champ. You can't have Cristiano Ronaldo. You can't have Mo Salah without that fallout. If things go wrong, you don't play him. These players simply have to play. Otherwise, they are not going to sit on the bench. They are born, they are wired to be at the absolute centre of attention, to score all the goals. And you can't have that without the fallout if things go wrong.
So if you're Mo Salah's teammate, you accept that because of that side to his personality?
You understand it. You understand his points. But you're disappointed that, come on, we all know how you feel. We all know your importance to the team. But you've made us look mugs as well here. You're almost too big for the club, too big for... It's a very selfish statement. So I would understand it, I would get it, but I would be disappointed and thinking, you've just you've just shot yourself in the foot here, Mo.
Well, talking about big players, one of the big characters in the Liverpool dressing room has been speaking about this today. He was obviously going to be asked about it ahead of their Champions League game of the week. It's Alisson Becker, the goalkeeper. He says Salah not being available is a consequence of what he did. He's smart enough to know that. We've had a good relationship for a long time. He's a legend for Liverpool. We will have a conversation, but it's going to be private because it's personal. And at the stage of the season Liverpool are at, with the problems and the run they're on, is it the last thing that teammates need to be discussing at the moment in the dressing room?
I think it is. There's so many problems at the moment, and people are scratching their head all over the world. What are the problems? You know, is it all these players that have come in, they've not settled yet? Is it the manager? Is it the tactics? Is it all these? There's so many different. Is it the unfortunate, tragic happening at the start of the season with Diogo Jota? All of these people will say, I've spoken to so many Liverpool fans, and everybody's got a different theory. The last thing you need is to add the biggest player into the mix and him throwing his toys out the pram. Now, from a positive point of view, you could say this could spur Liverpool into action. If Mo Salah...
In what way?
If Liverpool take a really hard stance and say, right, you're never going to play for us again, it's going to harm the team in the short term, but he's not getting any younger. There could be an opportunity to bring in a Semenyo, let's say, from Bournemouth. They do need another centre-half. All of a sudden, it could just freshen things up after that AFCON, after the January transfer window. It just could... It could be the new start that Liverpool might need to make to reinvigorate themselves. Now, that's me putting a big spin on it, a positive spin. Losing his goals, losing his performances over the last years. He has, yeah, well, exactly. He's only got 4 this season.
OK, well, the further news today, of course, they've got one more Premier League game against Brighton before Mo Salah goes off to play for Egypt in the African Cup of Nations, but they've got a crucial Champions League game in San Siro, away at Inter Milan on Tuesday evening, and Mo Salah has been left out of the travelling squad to that. He's not in Italy, and this is what Arne has had to say when questioned about that today.
Well, do you feel he was referring to you when he talked about being thrown under the bus? And
the only one who can answer that question is Mo himself, so I can guess, but I don't think that's the right thing to do in this moment of time. So it's hard for me to tell who he means in that situation, to be honest. We let him know that he's not traveling with us, so that was the only communication that's been there from us to him. So I think usually I'm calm and polite, but that doesn't mean I'm weak. So if a player says, have these commands about so many things, then it's about me, us as a club to react, and we reacted in a way you can see now that he's not here. He has every right to feel what he feels, but he doesn't have the right to share it with the media. He has that right, but then it's up to us to react on it.
Hand on heart, do you think he's played his last game for Liverpool?
I have no clue. I cannot answer that question at this moment of time.
He was on the front foot there, Arne Slot, crucially saying he has no right to share his opinions with the media, and he's been left out of the squad. And as I say, there's only one more Premier League game before he goes to AFCON. So do you see him playing in that Premier League game? And if not, have we seen perhaps the last of Mo Salah in Liverpool?
I see no chance of him being involved in that game. Mo Salah said he's going to invite his family to come to Anfield and to watch him, but they won't be watching him. He'll probably be sat by them or sat at home. I cannot imagine that's going to be the case. The club are going to need to show strong leadership here. That type of behaviour cannot happen at Liverpool. It just cannot happen. It's never been a club that's, aired its dirty washing in public. It's always been a very respectful club, and he has just disrespected the club, his fellow players, and he's going to have to pay the
and the manager, who's got a test here, hasn't he? So if you go back to the greatest manager we've seen in Premier League history, Sir Alex Ferguson, when he was tested with David Beckham, Roy Keane, Jaap Stam.
Yeah, doesn't matter how good they are, they're gone.
And so does Arne Slot have to show that leadership here with this player, as good as he is, the player of the year?
Yeah, I think it's a big opportunity for Arne Slot, actually, because there's a lot of questions about him at the moment. And if he handles this major, big situation really well, then actually I think the shining light goes off him onto Mo Salah. Everybody thinks what a good job the club have done in terms of confronting this, dealing with this in a strong way, showing the rules and regulations, you know, showing all the players, the fans, everything. This is how we do our business. No way is anybody allowed to do this in the future. So I think it could be a good opportunity for Arne Slot to really endear himself into the Liverpool fans who are a little bit sceptical at the moment with such a poor start.
OK, so let's round this up because we could talk all night about it. Start of February and the window's shut and he's back from Africa. Is he still a Liverpool player, yes or no?
I think not. I think not.
Parts, isn't it, ABC?
So now, which question would you like me to answer first?
Well, do you feel he was referring to you when he talked about being thrown under the bus? And
The only one who can answer that question is Mo himself. So I can guess, but I don't think that's the right thing to do in this moment of time. So it's hard for me to tell who he means in that situation, to be honest.
so have you spoken to him then? And how do you feel about what he's had to say overall as well? Again, going back to the fact that he said that your relationship with him had broken down.
We've let him know that he's not traveling with us. So that was the only communication that's been there from us to him. Of course, before Saturday, the two of us have spoken a lot. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. And then your second question was?
Do you feel your relationship has broken down with him?
No, that's not the way I feel. But he has the right to feel how he feels things. I haven't felt that at all till Saturday evening for sure, because I think when I didn't play him anymore, usually players don't like the manager then that much, but he was very respectful to my staff members, to his teammates, and he trained really hard. So to an extent, it was a surprise for me that when I heard after the game that he gave the comments he gave. But as I said, it's not the first and not the last time that when a player doesn't play, he I'm not sure if he was emotional or not, but that he says something something similar to what he did. But I think my reaction to that is also clear, and that's that he's not here with us tonight.
Will he be considered for selection against Brighton at the weekend? And what will it take to resolve this situation long term now?
No, I think we are sitting here on an evening before a big game, a big fixture for us, Inter Milan. And there was only now maybe 36 hours between the moment we've conceded the 3-3 against Leeds and the moment I'm sitting here now. And I think you can understand as well that I've tried to prepare my team in the best possible way for the game tomorrow evening. So the most thoughts I had are about tomorrow. And in the meantime, we've decided what I just said, not to take him with us to this game. And after tomorrow, we will look at the situation again.
Richard.
Can you approach more the micro, please?
I can hear you, yeah.
You say it's a short-term move to be out of the squad, and you look at it. You see a scenario where
I'm a firm believer that there's always a possibility to return for a player. So, but that's not. So yeah, I can leave it with that, I think.
And how was his reaction in the conversation you had today?
A short one.
Ian Dennis, Live.
Hi, Arne. You say that you've spoken to Mo quite a few times in recent weeks. I just wonder, he was a substitute twice in his first 18 games this season. What or why has he then only been on the bench for the last 3 games? What prompted that change?
I think we as a team struggled this season and already last season more and more with the game plans other teams had against us. So I'm not only talking about the long ball style, which is something team mainly do against us now. So I've tried to come up with solutions because this is my job, and we've tried many things. We looked very vulnerable, in my opinion, after all the things I've tried against Forest and against PSV. And then I decided to play with an extra midfielder in the game against West Ham, where we won the game. So I decided to do it one more time against Sunderland, where at half-time I brought him in. And against Leeds, we faced a 5-3-2, where I've decided to play a 4-4-2 diamond, if you want to look at it like this, with Ugo Ekitike a bit off the right side and Cody Gakpo a bit off the left, with Florian Wirtz in between. And I could have played Mo as well off the right instead of Hugo, but I decided to play Hugo.
Hand on heart, do you think he's played his last game for Liverpool?
I have no clue. I cannot answer that question at this moment of time.
James Pearce.
Arne, it's been such a difficult time for the team anyway. This has heaped more negativity on it. Do you feel like your authority has been undermined? Do you feel let down?
Again, 2 questions in one. I don't feel my authority is undermined. Is that the way you say it? It's not the way I feel it. And the second question was?
Just in terms of, does it make your life even more difficult during such a difficult period anyway?
If that was even possible. But it's not about me. If my life is difficult, yes or no, that's not very important in a situation like this. It is if it's more difficult for the team and for the club. And I think no one likes us to be in the situation we are in at the moment. First of all, it's difficult to see that staff members that work so hard on a daily basis, they are affected by the situation we're in now as well. Mainly because of the results, seconds of all, about what this has done as well. So that's not a good thing for us as a team. And that is where I'm mostly, where my thoughts go to, not towards me. I'm totally not, okay, because I'm the manager, I have to pick a team, so I'm to a certain extent I'm important in this situation as well. But the focus that I have at the moment is completely on the team and not on me at all.
Casi a producto nuevo por semana, producto bonito que, por supuesto, pues siempre invitamos a la gente a que consuma. Si queréis encontrarlo en kingsleague.pro, pues ahí tenéis las nuevas chaquetas training y también esas camisetas especiales con detalles dorados que llevan todos los equipos.
Oye, ustedes tendrán más memoria que yo, pero ¿cuánto quedaron la última vez que se enfrentaron ellos?
3-4 ganó 1K.
3-4.
En el histórico de estos dos equipos, el que gane desempata, porque han ganado 2. El X-Boyer Team ha ganado 2. 1.
Becker se lleva el rebote. Becker para marcar. Becker. El rechazo de Arne. ¡Gol!
¡Vamos! ¡Vamos!
¡Gol!
¡Vamos, Pablo! ¡Qué suerte!
Mascarra en el Cooper Arena. ¡Gol de Pablo Becker!
No será capaz, ¿no? ¡No será capaz! ¡Qué cabrón! ¡Qué cabrón!
A ver
Si
sale el
sacan
2.
más de 3, se quedan sin trabajo. Mira, muy
¡Hombre!
bien.
Dos,
¿Cómo
bien.
valoran el trabajo? Bien.
Ahí está ese ataque por parte del X-Boyer Team. El toque dentro de Becker. Puede marcar Carbó. ¡Gol!
¡Vamos!
¡Gol! Pablo Becker. Becker que quiere poner el centro por delante. Finalmente lo pone por detrás del defensor. Carbó la pista. Carbó.
No jodas.
¡Es el mejor de esta puta competición!
¡Por algo es el Corona de Oro! China la juega atrás, no se decidió a tirar. Granero busca su perfil, Granero.
Golazo.
¡Gol! De 1K. Marca Granero. Y sí, otra vez lo ha vuelto a hacer. Buller, mira, no,
Gol doble. Gol doble, claro, porque tiene sanción. Ah, claro, vale.
Sanción, efectivamente. Grande. Claro que sí. Bueno, sinceridad ante todo. Ahí está. Juanma el toque. ¡Gol!
Vale.
'Velilla! ¡Gol!
¡Vamos!
¡Gol! 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 Wins el disparo. ¡Gol!
Vale.
¡Gol!
Me gusta. Está haciendo un buen trabajo defensivo, ojo.
¡Granero!
¡Qué golazo!
¡Qué chicharro de Mar Granero! ¡Qué barbaridad! El recorte de zurda y el disparo con la derecha. Que la metió en la escuadra. Ojo ahora que ataca el X Buyer Team. ¡Gol! Va a pegar Fuad en la falta.
Santa madre de Dios. Sí.
Vamos a ver ahí esa pelota dentro del área para Juanma, que lo puede matar. ¡Gol!
2 de Juanma.
Sí, no podía ser otro que Roger Carbó. No sé si te imaginabas que tu vuelta iba a ser de esta manera.
Pues la verdad que no, o sea, ha sido la vuelta ideal. Hat-trick, partido de octavos y mañana jugamos cuartos, o sea, ha sido ideal. Aunque el trabajo no, o sea, me lo llevo yo, pero el trabajo es de todos. Hemos trabajado mucho y al final los resultados se han visto reflejados en el campo, así que muy contento.
Parecía o puede parecer que sois el rival más débil por todas las bajas, pero en los pasillos se comenta que nadie quiere enfrentarse a vosotros.
Bueno, a ver, yo escuché una persona que dijo de Gigantes que quería enfrentarse a nosotros, así que mañana a las 9 no te preocupes que estaremos aquí con muchas ganas, y más después de esas declaraciones. ¿Sabes por quién voy?
Yo no lo sé quién es.
No lo voy a decir, esta persona lo sabe.
Bueno, pues enhorabuena.
Muchas gracias.